Hi, and welcome to Tennis Volley Talk with Brian Danielson. Hey, this week, what I'm going to be doing is I'm talking about the current tournaments, the ITA men's tournaments and the WTA women's tournaments that are being played through this week and into the weekend. Some of the winners of that with the winners on that aspect of it too. But anyway, what it is, it's after the Australian Open, they're kind of on a bit of a there's an ITA Omro Open, and that's in Rotterdam, Netherlands. And one of those, Alex de Muir, beat Stan Wawrinka 6-4, 6-2. That's one of them. That's around a 16. And they're going to be playing Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday would be the final on that. But that's just one of the results of that particular tournament with Alex de Minaur and then Stan Wawrinka. And then we have the Argentina Open in Buenos Aires, and then that's around a 16. And Luciano Donardi was won over Mark Thomas Boyas Vera 6-1, 6-3, and that was one of those from that particular. And this is the ITA men's. And then we have the Nexo Dallas in Dallas, Texas, United States. One of the Taylor Fritz beat Brendan Nakashima in the 6-4 or 6-3, 6-4. And then Davakina let's see here. Davakina Alejandro, okay, Davakina over Alex Nicholson, 6-4, 6-4. Davakina. And then with that, then we have the WTA, and that's a Qatar Open. And then Anna Kaliskaya was over Elena Svitolina. And then that she won 6-4, 6-3. And then Elena Rybakina beat Guam Ching then 4-6, 6-2, 7-5. And then the Jamar Open in Portugal, you had Greet Menon over Lyra Romano Gomez, 3-6, 6-2, 6-4. That's kind of one of the some of the ones that have been being played this week. Then going into the weekend, and then Sunday being the final, or probably Saturday with the WTA. It depends with that of what the final will be. Probably Sunday for all of them, but not quite sure on all of that. But also that kind of leads you into with the aspect of the French Open that everybody is going to be coming into this next couple of months. They're going to be starting, and I think Buenos Aires, that's a clay court tournament right there. That's one of the starts of the clay court season, and then they'll start building up to the with the WTA women. They'll have the Charleston, South Carolina tournament starting the annual clay court season in a way, and then they'll go from there. They'll go to Monte Carlo, and that's a beautiful site with the Monte Carlo overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. Then they have the Italian Open, and then the German Open, I believe it is, and all of that is on the red clay leading up to this year's French Open. But odds on favorite, who do you think with the French Open? Who might win? Carlos Alcaraz again? Maybe it depends on who, or if Sinner might get and play a little bit better. But last year it was Carlos that took over Sinner in the Australian Open. So that was a heck of a match last year. So we'll have to see how that goes. And what are your predictions in all of this? All of you guys, YouTube, take a like, subscribe, and comment on my channel. And then also you podcasters out there, like, subscribe, and comment on my channel, Tennis Volley Talk. And I'm going to be having the racket of the week here pretty soon. This weekend, really interesting racket that you're going to like the look of it and like it. So very, very interesting racket that I ended up picking up, and an old one. And it's a very, very just nice racket all the way around and what it is. So with that, of all things, who do you think might be getting in or winning the French Open this year? On that, like, subscribe, and comment on that with that aspect of it. So with all the tournaments that are going on, I mean, after the Australian Open, they go over to Doha and Qatar and all of that for the women, and then Argentina and Buenos Aires for the guys. Just a whole variety of different places that they end up going all over in playing, and just building up the points that they are trying to get with the points going on with that. So this week I was going to have a possibility of a couple of doubles specialists that were on the pro tour, but however, it just didn't work out in that respect. But I will be getting them on maybe within the next week or two. I will be getting them on my podcast. I might be trying to do Zoom with that. So hopefully that might work out. It'll be my first time to try to do Zoom, but then I'll upload it to here, and then have you guys then watch the Zoom interview, is how I'm going to be doing it with the aspect of trying something like that. And so I'll just have to get that set up and then do the Zoom invite, and hopefully it will work out the way it should work out. So first time for me to be doing it, and we'll have to see, and then I'll have to upload it to the YouTube so you guys can see that aspect of what I did with the Zoom call and the interview that way. And then with that, I hope it does work out good for that aspect of it. And now with that, with the racket of the week here today, this is really kind of interesting. It came in a nice old leather case here, and it is old because it has the leather straps on it, where you used to be able to strap it down with the straps right there and come down and over and then strap it together. It had where the racket went, it had where the balls went there. It's an nice old canvas carrying case for a bag. And then it came with an old white tennis ball. I believe it is an old white tennis ball there. Back in the day. So it is a pretty old carrying case, but it's very, very good condition still. Very heavy though too for a carrying case. Now also what this ended up doing is coming with the press. And this press right here, a very old press, probably in the 1940s, 30s, 40s, something like that, in what they used to put the wood rackets in with on that. So yeah, very good old press that went with that racket too, of this particular racket. Now with this racket is a Slazenger racket, as you can see by that Slazenger, and it is actually a PM racket. But Slazenger actually was actually founded in 1881 by the brothers of Ralph and Albert Slazenger. They moved their rainwear business to London and began making tennis rackets to capitalize on the new sport of lawn tennis back in the day. of that. In 1902, they became an official supplier of tennis balls and rackets to Wimbledon championships, establishing a legacy, unbroken partnership. They introduced the bright yellow tennis ball for Wimbledon in 86. So before that was a white tennis ball until 86. That's whenever they had the bright yellow ball that you could see a little bit better. Standard for the game today, of course. Championship endorsements were legends like Fred Perry, then Wimbledon with a Schlesinger won Wimbledon with a Schlesinger racket in 1932, and Tony Wilding and others. Diversified and expanded into cricket, hockey, and golf, but tennis remained its core. Incorporated as a public company in 1911, acquiring rivals like Erez and later becoming part of the larger groups like the Dunlop, Schlesinger. In later years, increased competition and slow adaptations to new materials, leading to the market decline, though its heritage remained strong. And that was with the Schlesinger company in that respect too, in with that. But with this racket, it had the likes. Now, this is actually a racket that is in from the 1930s. Now, of course, it does have the smaller strings on the bottom and top of the main strings, and those were actually the precursor to what they have now for the string savers, the dampeners. These were the precursor to that, and they were to keep the strings tight and keep them from moving. And they came into an existence in the 1880s and lasted up until about 1960 with the rackets here and having these rackets. But this racket is really a fantastic, about 1930s. Now, also with the ribbons on the rackets here. Now, the ribbons were also then used to protect and keep the lamination and keeping it glued together or keeping the lamination from separating. And that's what these the ribbons were for the older rackets back in that time. In that time with that. Now, this racket actually, it was specifically made by Schlesinger in consultation with Fred Perry, world champion, and Dan Mescal, coach, All England Club Wimbledon. And that's what it was used for training purposes, because what you'd have is the forehand and service face. And then it was kind of like Perry and Mescal, the symbol right there. And then this was for the backhand face of the racket, but that was kind of used for the kind of purposes of training is what it was for in that respect. But it's still a very straight racket, very good racket. It does have a little bit newer strings in it, but they still put the bottom, these tops, and probably in the, like I said, about 1930 is when this racket actually was around and made and done for those two guys in that area. But also it said, ready on your toes, concentrate, watch the ball, get into position, stroke firmly, follow through. And that's kind of all the aspect of all of that, being able to do that. So yeah, it was just kind of a nice little aspect of this racket, kind of used for, like I said, training purposes by those two. It was made by consultation with Fred Perry and Dan Mescal. With that, so it was made in with them talking and telling, and this is what we want the racket made. So, and it's a very, very nice looking racket. I like the color, kind of the maple look or the light color wood look, along with the white there, and then the brown with that. Still have probably barely hit still with this racket today. So, but that's a racket of the day. So I do hope you guys like, subscribe, and you YouTubers, you get to see the racket, and like, comment, and subscribe. And then you podcasters, if you want to take a look at it, go see my YouTube tennis channel, Tennis Volley Talk, if you want to take a look at the racket that I just showed, and you can see it on that podcast. So with that, I just hope that you like what you see. You do like the interview that I do. I will be having a couple coming up. One on Monday with somebody that is well known. Everybody should know, and that should come up also. And then the following week, then I will have the other, and a possibility with the double specialists that were brothers, and not who you might think, but somebody else, but they were brothers. And we'll see what happens. And hopefully I can get both of them on Zoom. We'll see how that works. And a little nervous about trying it, but hopefully it'll work out. But like, subscribe, and in the southern states, keep it up. Keep playing if you can outside. Some of the southern states are hit with the winter storm yet still, so you have to wait and maybe play inside a little bit there. But here in the northern part, Minnesota, we're still playing inside right now. So everybody, thank you very much. I will talk, and you will see next week possibility of what I come up with and how it goes, either by phone like I usually do, or by Zoom. We'll see what happens. So thank you very much for listening, and everybody have a great week. Thank you very much.